Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Porter, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly webinar series where we cover a variety of topics that may be of interest to libraries. We broadcast the show live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. But if you're unable to join us on Wednesdays, that's fine. We do record the show as we are doing today, and it will be available on our in our show archives for you to watch later at your convenience. And I will show you at the end of today's show where you can access all of our show recordings. Both the live show and the recordings are free and open to anyone to watch, so please do spread the word to your friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, anyone you think might be interested in any of the topics we have on NCompass Live. For those of you who might be here who are not from Nebraska, the Nebraska Library Commission is the state agency for libraries in Nebraska, so similar to your whatever state library. So we provide training and resources and databases and grants and consulting, continuing education to all types of libraries in the state. So you will find shows on NCompass Live for all types of libraries. Public, academic, K-12, corrections, museums, historical societies, on and on. Really, our only criteria is that it's something to do with libraries, any and all types of libraries, and any and all cool things they may be doing. We have Nebraska Library Commission staff sometimes come on the show to talk about things we're in resources and things we're doing here at the Commission. And we also bring in guest speakers sometimes from all across the country to talk about what they're doing. And today we have a mixture of that, although it's something Nebraska specific, but we have a mixture of speakers. I guess I will describe it, yes. As you can see from the title here, there are changes coming to our Nebraska Libraries on the Web program. And Amanda Sweet is here to talk more about that. And I also should say it is the last Wednesday of the month, so it is also Pretty Sweet Tech Day, which means Amanda is here with us. Amanda is our technology innovation librarian here at the Nebraska Library Commission. And the last Wednesday of every month is when she comes on the show to talk about something techie. We have other tech shows throughout the month, but you can always depend on 9 times out of 10, Amanda will be here the last Wednesday of the month to do her Pretty Sweet Tech sessions. So if you are the tech person or interested in that kind of thing, look for her shows. But we also have
techy with it.
Yeah. Diana and maybe a third person to be determined. We won't talk about that until we're sure. Joining us, Diana, and I'll let you all introduce yourself and Amanda talk about what's happening with Nebraska Libraries on the web. Exciting things.
It's true. All right, so let me jump this off into, we're going to talk about some changes here. So I've gotten a lot of questions about Nebraska Libraries on the web because there have been rumblings about what's been going on. And I've gotten questions from new directors and new staff who didn't actually know what Nebraska Libraries on the web was in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so I'm going to start this off with a recap of what the current service is all about and how it works right now. And then I'll talk about why that service is changing, how it's changing, and then I'll talk about both me and Diana will talk a little bit about some of the new WordPress training options that are coming up. And then we'll talk about some of the different service options that you can use when we're transitioning away from some of the current Nebraska Libraries and the web services. And I put questions on the list at the end, but you can feel free to pop them into the chat, or if you have a really pressing question, then you can unmute yourself and ask it, do your thing.
So we can do either way, yeah. So yeah, type a question in, ask if you have a microphone somehow connected to your computer, let me know and I will unmute you individually if you want to really be able to vocalize your question better than typing it. We can do that.
You have options. Yeah. So first off, the Nebraska Libraries on the Web service is a free WordPress web hosting that is run through the Nebraska Library Commission. And this has been going on for, Christy, do you know when this actually started?
Wow.
It's been a while.
I
Was
was
it
here when it
over
started.
15 years?
Yeah, somewhere between 15 and 20. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's been
it's
a
been a while.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And WordPress has evolved and changed a lot since that time. And in the commission side, we've done the back end maintenance, so all the updates for WordPress, all the plugin updates, helping with troubleshooting if anything went wrong, and doing some of the limited design support, adding a widget here, doing some page layouts here, doing some of the figuring out how to use the Elementor plugin to do layouts and different things like that. So basically, it's been helping you run your WordPress hosting more smoothly. And so that's kind of like the quick and dirty version of Nebraska Libraries on the web right now. And the problem is that over the years, it has been getting really, 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 really slow to load. And part of that is probably because of a duplicator plugin that we use before my time and a little bit during my time. And then that's one of the things that started to make it run really slow, we're pretty sure. And just a little variety of things that popped up. And now we're not actually able to tell when some of the themes that were in use are out of date unless we individually Google each one of them. So some of the themes that are in use, we found out have not been updated by the developer for probably a couple of years, and that has not been helping either the load time or updating. So now there's something that is not allowing us to update our WordPress in general. So because we're not able to update WordPress, we're not getting the security patches and we're not getting any of those updates that are helping it run in the back end. And then, so unless we can figure out what's stopping that update, there's a few issues there. So then we looked at some other alternatives to be able to say, well, can we just use a different hosting provider? And it turns out that when you get that many libraries, it can start to add up. And no, all libraries are not having great budget times right now. So unfortunately, we just didn't have the budget to be able to cover a new solution for everybody. So that is kind of in a nutshell what's going wrong with the current solution. And now you're probably wondering what is actually changing.
And
So
I
I'm
did
going to,
actually look up, I was able to find out when we did start this, because I remember we did an
yeah.
NCompass live show about it. NCompass Live has been around since 2009, a long time. And I actually found the original when we first introducing Nebraska
Oh,
Libraries on the web, and that was in May 2011. So we are
whoa.
14 years.
It feels like a long time, but it also doesn't feel like a long time. Oh well,
Mm.
but yeah, I get what you're saying, skeptical cat. I get you. You know. So some of the things that right now we are starting to phase out the Nebraska Libraries on the web service because it has just clunked along as far as it's going to go. So our current service is going to be supported through September 30th of 2026. But with the security patches and all of that, I am recommending that people shift over to a new solution as soon as they can. We're just trying to provide support for as long as we possibly can to give people time to do their planning, do their budgeting, and shift over and find the next solution. So we are trying our very best over here. We're working on it. So
We'll
now
let
we're
me
gonna,
pull this out from underneath you.
yeah, yeah.
Time to figure it out. Yeah.
So we also did our best to figure out how we can help the transition. So pretty soon, Vern is going to start talking about he built this awesome free basic website that pulls all of this data that we already collect through the commission.
Hmm.
So he'll show you the draft site, and he's already started making a few of these different sites live. So that you do have that free basic website option that will be hosted through the NLC, and he'll go over some of the details about how you can update some stuff, but the layout is not going to be quite as flexible. And by quite as flexible, I mean you can't really change it, but
It's okay.
yeah. So for the people that really love WordPress, and WordPress is it's actually the top used
Mhm.
um, builder that's out there. I think the last stat that I checked was 75% of the world's websites was running all or in part by WordPress.
It's a great
So
service.
it's,
Just the
yeah,
way we were using it as like hosting all these sites was just becoming
yeah,
unmanageable.
it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah,
So we're not saying no to WordPress. We're just saying no to the way we are ended up
yeah,
falling into
yeah.
using it.
And it's so what we wound up doing was I hunted around to a whole bunch of different options and I did some price comparisons, feature checking, and I went with LibChalk. So LibChalk is actually it's a web hosting provider that works specifically with libraries and educational institutions. And the contact person for LibChalk is Brian Pitchman. And he's not the one who originated LibChalk, but he's the one who um, is helping out running it now and doing all that. So we wound up partnering with LibChalk, and they were able to get the reduced rate of $250 a year for the Nebraska libraries. And so you can switch over to that, and LibChalk will migrate your WordPress website over to the new hosting, so you don't have to worry about it at all. It just kind of moves over. As he says it, you fall asleep, wake up, and bam, your website is still there. But so that one is the yearly if you want the individual. And then we're also working with them to basically create a new multi-site that runs better. And we learned from the other one what not to do. So and since they are WordPress website hosting, they already know how to do this better than we probably ever did. So that new multi-site, it will have a variable rate depending on the number of libraries that sign up for it. So the more libraries that sign up, the cheaper that rate will go. We are trying to hit the magic number of at least 25 libraries, and I think we're up to between 7 and 11. There'll be a link to an interest form later on, and I ask you to please, please, please fill it out so we can start getting a gauge for how many people might want that multi-site, and people want to be able to know what their pricing options are so they can do their budgeting for the next year.
And that's good that you mentioned that some libraries are already on this. This is not the first time that we're presenting about this. There were two
Yeah.
webinars earlier at the beginning of this month about this, two online sessions. So this has already been happening. Libraries who are currently in the program had already attended those or been reached out to. So transition, even though you said they have until September of next year, the transition is already happening for some libraries.
Yeah.
Nice.
And again, I do encourage people to switch over to the new solution as soon as possible because we're chugging along. But yeah, security patches are real.
Yes. Not
So
having them has a real consequence.
a little bit. So the last thing on here is going to be we're working with Diana, who is delightfully on our screen right now. And she will be building a WordPress training course that will be going live on Niche Academy. And the other question that I've gotten is that there are quite a few libraries that wanted to have some help in basically revamping, redesigning their website or doing just things here and there that are more intensive, but that take more time and have more expertise than I have for WordPress. So Diana will go over some of those options in the WordPress training, maintenance, and all that stuff. All right, so in my little flow of operations here, is Vern on right now?
No, I don't. I didn't know that Vern was going to be joining. He didn't. I didn't
Okay,
know.
if he's not, I can do it. So
Yeah, so I should explain. Vern Bias, he is one of our IT people here at the Library Commission. He does all of our, he's just magic behind the
hey,
scenes with
there he
building.
is.
um,
That was
and
the only
he
picture.
builds
Yeah.
like a lot of our databases and a lot of the forums you see on the website, and this demo page here. Yeah. Um,
So this is the demo page that he put together, and he delightfully called it Anytown Public Library because it's representative of any town in the state of Nebraska. So he put together all these different awesome pages that actually just get pulled from a database on the side. On the right-hand side, this is kind of an example sidebar. These buttons are not automatically populated for every single website. It'll be customized to the services that your library actually has. It would be incredibly confusing for your patrons if you had all these buttons and then people clicked on it and they didn't actually go anywhere. He just
right,
put it
right.
together.
It will just be what yours is. Yeah.
Yeah. He just put this together as an example of what's possible. And then there'll be a little check boxes and update systems so that you can tell the system what you actually do have, and then the right buttons will pop up on your own site. And you'll be able to link them over to, some of these are going to be universal, like some of the Hoopla links will just go over to the login page or the Mango login page, but some of them will be customized to your Overdrive login link or the library catalog link. And the library hours and the address and direction information will be pulled from what's already gathered through the library survey data. And at the start of it, he has this little updated current events, updates, goings ons, and happenings. And he just has a form that you would fill out to be able to say, these are the latest and greatest that's going on this week. These are the latest and greatest going on this month. Or it's recommended that you fill this out as at least probably weekly so people know what's going on. You can, the image up here will automatically be pulled from the image that's stored in the commission database. You are able to change or customize that front image if you want to. You just need to submit the new image through the form or send it to him via email and he'll get it updated. If your library is accredited, then the seal will pop up on your page. And so a good vast majority of this stuff will be automatically populated through what's already gathered here. There's also pages on here since we already gather data about the current library staff. So when people click on that button, there'll be a little pop-up with the contact info and all that fun stuff that we already gather. And we have all these different pages so you can start posting your policies. We'll do just a link to each different policy on here. And then you can kind of click through this to find out some of the different types and features and services that are available in here. He also, some of the library services information is already collected through the survey data, but some of it will need to start being collected so that it can populate on this page.
Yeah, this
So,
data that she's mentioning that we collect, this is through the public library survey that you all do every year. Sam Shaw runs that survey, and so it's something that's done nationally that all states do with their public libraries, and we have that information, so we are pre-populating everything we know already into here for you. We also, in addition, have a supplemental survey for Nebraska. Other stuff that we wanted to ask and know about what you were doing to keep track of that just isn't part of the national survey. That's where you enter who are your staff members, your board members. And that supplemental, this annual survey you do once a year, the supplemental survey, you can update anytime you have a change in staff or hours or anything, you can use that to do that. So that's where all this information comes from. You've already sent, we're not going to make you send the same thing twice or multiple times. If you've done that survey once, we'll put all we can in here. But as Amanda said, on that main page, when you have new things coming up that you want to be on your front page there, summer reading just for the summer, other stuff, you would then do those on a regular basis to keep that basic information up to date. Yeah.
And he basically just put together an update form, and it's behind a login wall so that otherwise anyone would be able to click on it and put in like Poopface McGee, and you would have a new staff member named Poopface. So he put it behind the login wall to prevent fun stuff from like that from happening.
And this is this is not a new password you have to learn or new thing. This is your same Bibliostat ID and password that you use to complete that survey.
Yep.
So same login to use this form on our site to give any extra information.
And when you get logged in, there'll just be a little submission form that says, what do you want to change? Type in what the new stuff you want to say is, or upload an image that you want in that section, and then there's a submit button, and it pops in there. So I'll pause here and find out if you have any questions about this for right now.
Yeah, we do have a few questions and comments coming through. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about this, definitely type them in here. Okay, so question here says, I'm assuming Nebraska libraries end up using WordPress as it is and was supported and recommended by the Library Commission. With that said, can anything be used? I'm guessing that just depends on the website admin skill level and budget, etc. So I assume they're talking about the group purchase thing. Is that just WordPress sites, or can
I should mention that
something that's not WordPress if they want to.
I should mention that I don't know if I was clear enough about this. Like we partnered with LibChalk. You are not required to use LibChalk. You are not required to stay with WordPress if you're sick and tired of WordPress. So this is just one of the options that we made to make the transition easier. Some libraries wanted to use a Wix site. Some libraries wanted to use I just got an email that the Pioneer Consortium also has access to the free it's not a traditional website, but it's run through Bywater's catalog.
Right, yes, the Pioneer Consortium, they're a group of libraries here that have a joint catalog and everything. They were just mentioning that too, that if any of them wanted to, that's something they could do. So that would be something totally separate from going with us. You don't have to switch. But if you go through us with LibChalk, is it just WordPress then?
So Brian said that you can do WordPress, you can do Drupal, he can configure it different ways. We put WordPress on all the flyers because we were already using WordPress and we figured that WordPress would be the most popular. But no, he can configure it in different ways. So if you want, if anyone has any specific questions about what you can do through LibChalk, then I can pass the questions along to him. But no, he can configure it really different ways. And there are other providers outside of LibChalk that you can also shop around and see if you like something more. And some of the local communities, they have WordPress hosting and they have different things like that. So I chose this one because I priced around, and this one was the most reasonable rate that would also do website migration, that also had good support, that also had I popped it all into a flyer because that just seemed to make life easier. I did find cheaper website hosting, but it didn't have the security. And so it was cheaper, but you'd probably get a boatload of spam and brute force attacks that would take out your site anyway. So I noped out of anything that didn't have a backend security, and they built their own custom build thing. They run through a little the guy who actually designed and built and founded LibChalk is from IBM. So he knows like all the stuff about cybersecurity. Brian's got a background in cybersecurity. So that was the plus for them. I'm sure they're not the only one. I guarantee they're not the only provider that has cybersecurity on their back end. These guys work with libraries, so I heart libraries.
Mhm.
But the other common question that I forgot about till I looked at this flyer was that you can actually get a customizable URL. LibChalk goes through a service called Namecheap, so they get a reduced rate for the first year. Most of the libraries that have gotten the custom URL have gotten it for $7 for the first year, and then it ranges between $10 and $15 each year after that. The domain name cost is variable based on if you do a .com or a .org or a .whatever. So it'll vary based on what you choose. But if you want a custom URL, it's not super expensive. And the other comparison that made me go with LibChalk instead was that there wasn't an upload cap. Some of the larger hosts like WP Engine, they actually had like a megabyte cap on the number of images that you could upload per site. And then they charge and have like hidden fees for if you were to upload more than that number of images, which gets super annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was cool.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so this flyer will be linked over into the slides. You'll get a link to all these slides and you can take a closer look at this. If you received the newsletter through the listserv, this was also linked through that newsletter. And when I was talking about the more libraries we get that are wanting to do the multi-site, the cheaper this gets. So you
Mhm.
can see that that's why I was looking for that 26 library marker, because that's when it starts to drop down considerably. And I worked with him to see how cheap we could get this, but because he actually has a base cost that he has to pay to Amazon to even make the website function, there's only so cheap that he can actually make it.
Mhm.
So that's 26 is just our magic number. So it might take us a while to find out how many we can get up to that, but if we get more than that, then it'll get even cheaper for people.
Mhm. Of course.
And this is where I will toss it over to Diana, and you can talk about that fun little WordPress training course that we're putting together and all of your awesome cool stuff that you can do for people.
And I do know we do have some questions about the websites themselves too, and we can pop back to that after we talk about the training too. So I do see those other questions you all have in there. We'll get them.
Cool. Yeah. Diana, do you prefer to share screen or would you like me to pop something open?
You can just pop up in the flyer, I think is probably fine.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Amanda. So my name is Diana Silvera and I run Navarre Library Services, and I am a company that focuses on libraries. I'm a librarian by trade, and I've worked closely with LibChalk for years now on various projects. So one of the things that we talked about is some libraries might not want to do maintenance. Brian will be handling, LibChalk will be handling the server end, but sometimes in the front end, you need a little bit of extra help. So Amanda and I have been working on some different scenarios that can help. I can help you with sort of the front end maintenance. The first is we will have training. I'm working with Amanda in developing a Niche Academy self-paced class that will be in the Nebraska Library Commission's Academy, and that will have section by section of training available to you on WordPress. And LibChalk will have some additional help guides for you. So some of that information will be right there. So if you are a go-getter and you want to just jump right into it, you'll be able to do that. That said, some of your libraries are smaller. You might be the director also, and doing web work is not really what you want to be doing with your time. So we have a couple options. The first is if you want to do a full new revamp, you want an entirely fresh page, you want to kind of just create a whole custom look for yourself, I can develop a whole web page for you, and that would be a one-on-one project where I would work with your library. So that's why that price is kind of high, because it is really it's high, but not if you go out and look for web designers. It's a discount price. But that is me working with you and integrating tools, doing a full-fledged website for you from scratch. However, if you have a website and you just have a little bit of work, that is also a great scenario. So one is I have a monthly maintenance package, which is $160 for 2 hours, and I'll say plus a little bit, support, where I can just help you with WordPress updates, small content. I need a new page, I need a new form, those kind of things, maybe a little bit of changing the cosmetics and working on the site slowly. And that's just $160. You would just, Diana, do this, and I would update your site for you however you needed. You might be in another scenario where you can do most of that maintenance for yourself, but you just need some special projects. You want to just kind of revamp a special section, just do a little thing, and I can just help you with that on demand. So you can call, you can start a ticket through LibChalk, and they'll get hold of me, and I can help you with a specific issue you're having on your website, and we can kind of work that out. And again, this wouldn't be hosting stuff. This would be more like front end stuff. Maybe you decided you want to add an event calendar, you want to change the colors of your website, you want to switch themes, that kind of work. I can help you with all of that. So that's all of the website design and support services I can include. I can also do custom training for you and your staff, and if you want to get together with other libraries, we can put together custom training however you want. I can do webinars, we can do self-paced where we get together, and not self-paced, where web-based training where we all get together and we screen share and we work on doing content changes, working on WordPress editing together, whatever special, and that would be customized to your needs. And that have no problem with you inviting working together in groups, coordinating that, however that works best. There is an option for in-person training. I know that is kind of a big deal, and it's a little more prohibitively expensive because I am based in Florida, so we'd have to get me to Nebraska. Preferably not in the winter, but otherwise I'm more
no,
than
we wouldn't do that, no.
I'm in Florida wearing a sweater, but and I am a librarian first and foremost, so I am always a resource for Nebraska Libraries. As we're working through this, if you just had a question or quick question, I'm happy to help anybody, and that's not something that a quick call or quick session is not anything that we would need to charge for. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you support your sites on LibChalk or however you decide to go forward.
Cool. And so it's all in one sheet. The link will be open if you want to be able to take a gander at it. And Diana, can you remind me when we landed on to get this out on Niche Academy, the free one?
It's going to be in the fall, the late fall.
Yeah. So you can keep an eye out for that self-paced training. That'll be popping in. It'll get there when we get there. It has been a month. But so then there's also kind of the ranging in here. And again, I'm sure Diana's probably pretty flexible. I know that she always has been in the past. So you can work with her, figure out what works for you. And to an extent, I can also answer questions about WordPress too. So you can always try me first and then go to Diana if it's something more advanced or more intensive or just anything like that. So you can always try me and then we'll escalate as we go along. But because if you have like a full-on page redesign or anything like that, unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to be able to do the full-on design like that. And so this will be available to you as you need it. And I just saw a flicker of a Brian pop in there.
Yeah, yes, I was going to say after you're wrapping this up that Brian has made it. He joined us. Yeah, you can go ahead and get your camera back up there if you want, Brian.
Sure. My internet's a little slow today, so oopsies.
Oh, you're good. And Krista, I think you said that there were some questions that popped in that were about LibChalk.
Just questions about the website and what can be done. I guess we're getting into what you can and can't do. There he is. Hi, Brian. Good to
Yeah.
see you.
Hey.
Um,
Yeah, I guess I
so,
can just give a high-level summary if that works.
huh?
I gave kind of an overview of how the LibChalk migration works and then the pricing. And so we're at the questions about how that works. There was a question about, do I have to use WordPress or can I use something else? And you might be, I guarantee you're better to answer that.
Yeah, so in the environment that we spin up for you, you have access to a database. We can use Postgres or SQL or MySQL and PHP, JavaScript, whatever you like. Other people host or other people that are on us are using Drupal as a content management system instead of WordPress, and that's fully supportable too. So anything that you want to put on a web server, we will be able to host for you.
Perfect. And the pricing would be the same no matter which they're using it
That's
as.
the same no matter what you use. Yep.
Perfect. Someone had a question about a news feed. It just says news feed, seeing past events, photos. And I'm not sure if they meant on the hosted site or on the free site we're offering. Can you clarify that there, Jenny? I see. Yeah. Which one were you wondering about?
I'm guessing they meant the free site, but
On the
I'm
free site,
not
they
sure.
said, yeah,
Okay,
the free
okay.
site, yeah. So is there a way, is there to see, like, I suppose the question would be, you mentioned that you can fill out the form to have that center part update with
Yeah.
current events. How far back does that stay? What past events do you see? Is that, like on our website, on our blog, you can go back to when we first started it way back and whenever if you
So
wanted to, but.
in this one, so far he has the section for 2 of them. I know that he's flexible and customizable to a degree, but the only thing is that you won't be able to. In WordPress, I've been helping libraries to figure out how to use their blog as a way to do their annual reporting so that you can pull the blog postings that you did to be able to know how many different events you did in each different season and
Okay.
what types they were by adding the metadata tag to it. So if you're talking about something like that, then you would not be able to do that with the free site because we wouldn't have the same metadata tags, reporting, and stuff like that. You would need something like WordPress or another WordPress awesome related thing that would be able to do that.
Right. Our free site is not run with WordPress. It's
a homegrown
it's a
thing that Vern
homegrown.
built.
This is what
Yeah.
Vern does a lot. He builds things from scratch. He's amazing. So yeah, so this is just a home. It's hosted on our
Yeah.
servers and just homegrown type thing. So it doesn't have a lot of those.
And it wouldn't have the archives that you might be used to. So if
Right.
you're used to pointing people over to this is what happened in August of 2023, then it wouldn't have anything like that.
It's mainly a static site, but with that middle bit there where you can have just some what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Quickie type things. Yeah.
This is probably a question for Vern later, but he has text in here. I know that WordPress can support text or image, and I don't know if he built this to support only text like he has in here, or if it supports
Right.
text and image, because it would be different coding on the back end to be able to support images, but he supports images elsewhere, so maybe?
Yeah. It's all we can do is ask and see,
Yeah.
This is something he just built in the last month or two, even
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah.
So it's could be a work in progress. There's been a lot of back and forth and changes and tweaks to it. Our system administrators, our 4 system directors have been involved in the process with giving input, and other staff here at the commission of mentioning, they might need this, or what about that? So we've tried to make it as best as we can for, we have lots of libraries in the state that they just need a presence. They don't need a really dynamic site. You may be using your Facebook page to push out a lot of that info, and that's great. But you also might need something that's separate from Facebook with just your basics. Here's just quick and dirty. Here's what it is about us. And that's something we can do for you. For some of our smallest libraries who just do not even have the time to update those kind of things, like a blog post or a update on something, this can be a place that you can at least point people to for the basics of what your library offers.
Oh, and another question that I got via, it was either phone or email, but somebody asked if they could integrate Facebook on this page. And the answer is not on the free one, but there is a plugin that will do it on WordPress. So if you're used to having the social media integration that every time you post on Facebook or Twitter or what have you, it'll display in your WordPress or cross post on WordPress. It will not do that on the free one, but you can do it on a new WordPress if you choose to keep with WordPress.
But you can do just a link to their Facebook page.
You can, yeah. And
So
I think Vern has a
It's
sample.
on there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, you can just link to your Facebook too. So
There you
yeah,
go,
he has
follow
a
us.
social on the
Yeah.
bottom here.
So you can tell people you do have those kind of social medias out there,
Yeah.
Cool. Another question, and that's something we didn't really clarify, which I think is a good question. Do you have to be a current Nebraska Libraries on the web library to do either of these options?
No, you don't. You can be any Nebraska library and you can just shoot me or Brian an email to do this one. Or you can shoot me or Vern an email to do the free basic. Or if you want the WordPress maintenance, regardless of whether you were using Nebraska Libraries on the web or not, Diana will help you out.
Yes. And is this just, because we've just been saying libraries, is this just for public libraries or can any type of library?
Brian,
Previously,
do you
I
care
believe
if
the
school or
Nebraska Libraries
public?
on the web was specific to public libraries because that's the ones that were desperately in need. Many, I know lots of K-12 schools, the K-12s, they have the school website. People use that. Universities have their website.
Yeah.
The library's going to use that. So I don't know, there might be special.
Brian, if you don't care if school or public uses it, then I'll leave that to you.
Doesn't matter to me. It's the same price. So
Yeah. Yeah, so school, public, academic, whoever.
Anybody who wants to could.
Yeah.
Probably will be mostly publics because, like I said, your school has a site, your university has a site that you need to be part of. And hopefully you have something on there. But if for some reason you don't, and some people have a city website that their library has a presence on, and that's great. Sometimes I know those
like
city
City
websites
is both.
vary.
Like Loop City is school and public, so they might want a separate.
Right.
It's going to be different for everybody.
Some municipalities, they'll give you a section on their website, and sometimes it's great. I've seen some that they let them fill in all sorts of stuff, and some that it is less than what our site is as far as basic info about the library, and it's not really helpful to anyone. So many libraries I know have reached out and have done like, we're just going to do our own. The city, our village just can't handle what we need to be putting out there.
And I've gotten questions from libraries and different city groups that have wanted to put together like stuff like Read Aloud that want like a designated site and they're a specific project and they want a library related page like that. Brian, can people go through that for that?
Yeah, we can build like specific pages. It's all pretty much open. If you wanted something served by a web server, the $250 price could do it.
Cool. So I was meaning to ask Brian about that later, but I just remembered it now. So stuff like the specialized project stuff can also go under this umbrella if it's library related, library adjacent. And if it's not, I guess just email Brian.
Yeah. You have a question about the free website. Do we make the posts on the free website or do we send it to Vern for posting? There was that form you were going to show, wasn't it? or,
I don't
well,
have a Bibliostat ID, so I can't get logged into it. Usually he pre-logs in, but I can't get through the login wall. I don't know if you have one.
I might be able to pull one up here. Let me see. What is it? lives.nu.gov/login.
I did want to demo that, but it's hard
Mhm.
to when I can't get in there. It is just he made it a quick and easy form too. So you just pop in the new thing that you want in there and basically hit submit. And if it's a photo, then you upload it. And I know that he just found a workaround for uploading the specialized HEIC format that iPhones do because iPhones have to be special. So he has been finding a workaround for that.
Let's see. I'm trying to find one that'll work here. 002. Ah.
I like
Try.
the sound of that.
Yeah, hang on a sec. I've got
That was an almost
getting behind
nefarious
the
sounding
scenes
one.
info that I might be able to. No, it's not working.
No, no go.
Yeah,
It
I
is
got.
he did make it a super simple form though, so it's basically just, it'll open up to a landing page and it'll ask you which section of the site you want to be able to change. And then you'll choose whether you're changing the staff, the main announcements page, or which section on here that you want to adjust. And then based on the section you choose, it'll pull open a little submission form that says pop in the new staff information, hit submit, or upload your image, hit submit, and then it'll populate into the database. So yeah, it's not, and if that form for any reason doesn't work, or if you're just not comfortable using that form, then you can also just email him and he'll add it in there for you. So you've got options.
Yeah.
So while you are, it sounds like you might still be fiddling around with some of that other stuff, but I will put the link to the interest form so we can start getting a feel for what you might be interested in doing. And right now, our main thing is how many might be interested in doing that, the multi-site, and then how many might want to flip over to doing a LibChalk site. And Vern really wants to start getting people onto the free site, and I think he just wants to play with it. All right, I put the link in the chat to that interest form. And so if you want to be able to get set up with LibChalk, then that is an email over to, you can email just Brian, you can email me and Brian, or you can email just me and ask more questions before you commit to anything. I have gotten a lot of libraries that want to just email me so that they can learn more about it before they go over and bite the bullet to go commit to the whole thing. So you're welcome to do that. And if you already know what you want, then you can just do not pass go directly to Brian. If you are looking for WordPress help already, then you can reach out to Diana and she'll figure out whatever you need to do. So Oh, I am trying to get this pop-up to disappear and it is not doing it. Let me go to a different slide and I'll pop back. There we go.
There we go.
So the sign up for the basic site, Vern had told me September 1st, but he was running a little early because he just wanted to see what he could do with it. So you can actually sign up for that basic site now. And then you can also shift over to LibChalk anytime you want to.
Yes, and actually that's a question that someone just asked, which is kind of funny that you just said that, because someone just typed in, can we switch from free? Oh, can we switch from free to LibChalk? Oh, I see, at any time.
Yeah.
So if they start off with just our free site and get that going and then realize, wait, we need something more, can they then bump up to LibChalk? Yeah.
Some of the libraries I talked to, they needed to wait for a new budget cycle to start, or they
Right.
needed to still go through the process of talking to their library board. So some of them knew they wanted to do LibChalk, but they don't have the money for it yet. So they're starting with the basic site, and then they'll switch from the free basic site over to LibChalk when the funding fairies get through, I guess. So yeah, no, you can definitely do that.
And I'll throw into, like, I've been in the library world my entire life. If that's one of the issues of like the budget thing and whatnot, shoot me an email and we'll figure it out. Like, this is not like a money maker thing for me. I just do it because I'm bored. And I want to make something great for people that's easy to use. So shoot me an email and be like, hey, we don't have our budget renews in January or July, whatever it may be. Can we pay then? That's fine. Just toss me. That way you don't have to like move multiple times. It makes your life a little easier, less stress. Don't let like the financial stress get to you. Just email me and we'll figure it out.
And that's why we heart Brian.
We do have another question that came in. Is there a way to use custom domains to point to the free NLC option?
That might be a Vern question. I don't see why not, since we already do URL forwarding. Because
we do that a lot, yeah.
If you were to purchase through like GoDaddy or Namecheap or something, you can usually log into the FTP and then customize it to forward it over to the, I think he's just using the libraries.ne. I see Brian has a hand raised, so he probably has a better answer than what I just gave.
If you do it that route with buying a custom domain, most DNS providers, if they don't do it, use Cloudflare, and that's free too. Most DNS providers can do what's called a 301 redirect. And so you say, I buy this domain, but I want it to route to a different domain. People will type in your custom domain, it'll then redirect and show the Nebraska Library domain instead. And that's probably your cheapest and easiest. Like, you can just chat in with Namecheap or GoDaddy and say, this is what I want to do. And it's called a 301 redirect.
Sweet. So
yeah.
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 So you can do, you've got options. And then, and Brian, you said you go through Namecheap, right?
Yeah, I use Namecheap.
Yeah.
I have a relationship with Namecheap, so I pay a lot less than what everyone else pays. And so even if you don't want us to host, but you want a custom domain, and you're like, oh, it's like $15, $20, email me. I can tell you what it costs us, and we don't upcharge. Like, there's no money made then on DNS purchases. So just tell us what domain you need, and I can tell you what it would cost us.
Sweet. And were there any other questions that popped in?
Let's see. We did that. Yes. I don't see anything right now. Does anybody have anything else you want to ask? Yeah, we're getting to the top of the hour again, but we will stay and answer whatever questions you have. Is there anything else you want to know about this? Anything you're curious about you want to ask now? Type it into your question section there. Thank you to Kim for trying to help. Kim is one of our staff here at IT, our IT people who's logged in too, trying to get us the passwords that we could use to get into that form. And for whatever reason, they're not working for me. I don't know.
Sad.
But you know, Vern's very good at making these easy forms, so shouldn't be too difficult for you to be able to get that set up for you. Yeah. So any other last minute desperate questions? Yeah, that. I've been using the one that she suggested and it's just not
No go.
telling me it's wrong. I switched to Chrome and that didn't work either. I tried uppercase, lowercase. I don't know.
I know he usually builds in, I think it's Chrome that he builds in.
I know
If you
there's
try
certain
Chrome,
things
then
that are like through the state of Nebraska that you only can use certain browsers for because of how their things work.
yeah.
I don't think we usually have that kind of restriction. We try to.
No, usually his works in either
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. It's all right.
It was worth a try. So I'm going to pop out of
That's a good
this.
question. If someone goes to the demo page here that you've got, Anytown,
Mhm.
can we, someone's asking, can we click on the demo page and try to use our library's bibliostat ID to get into that? Or no, that would be just for like each page, you've got to use that page's.
So let's find out if it works with the URL logic. Give me a city. Ainsworth?
Ainsworth, yeah, don't they have one going? Yeah.
Yes, you
Ainsworth.
can.
Okay.
So you can just type in your city and it will populate. Let's try Central City, 2 words. Yeah. So you can see what it would look like for yours based on, and it just auto pulls.
Yeah, it's all already in there. It's just pulling from the data we already have, so you can see what yours would look like as a free site.
Yeah.
But and they were saying, can we try and log in using our bibliostat ID?
Try it. You can try it.
I was trying different libraries once, and I was getting error messages too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Give it a try. But yeah, I mean, it looks like you can just populate it in here. Were there any other questions that popped in?
So this is a good thing that someone just realized. So what you're showing here, this is live right now, right? So
Yeah, anyone can go to this. Anyone can go to this.
So in effect, every library in Nebraska has a free site.
Yep.
If they know what, just to type in their city name up there.
Yeah, I guess now they do.
Is that something that this library saying, what if we don't want this to be the site that people find for us? We actually have a bigger, more robust site that we would prefer people to go to.
I would say that most of the libraries that I talk to would prefer the public not to find their free site.
Yes.
So this is a very, very, very specific URL, and search engines will go from what you tell it to. So if search engines are accidentally somehow finding the site, there is an option to be able to correct the search engine. And usually search engines will go by the URL that has the most number of clicks and the URL that is active. So if no one is ever clicking on this site, no one's ever actually going to it, then it's not going to rise up in the search engine ranks. And when I search, even though I just typed in Central City right now, if I type in Central City Public Library, it still pops up the regular site.
Their regulars is not going to pick up. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to like visit this site all day, every day, and have everyone that you know
once
click
you start
on
saying
it.
this is our library's URL now, then people will start using it.
Yeah.
You'll start sharing
Yeah.
it. It will actually be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
And this site will not have the same search engine optimization that like a WordPress site or another site might have, because search engine optimization also goes based on how often it's updated. And I don't know that search engine optimization will be searching our backend database to find out if those changes have been made. So if you are worried about SEO, search engine optimization, and how your library returns in search engine results, then you might want to go with WordPress or another provider. So that's one thing to think about.
Cool. All right.
And I think the other question that we got in a previous session was whether people can forward the libraries.ne.gov/their city to this new URL, or if Vern is just going to use the libraries.ne in the eventual URL. Because right now,
That's what they're using now, and that's out there as
yeah.
on a lot
And
of
all the
paperwork.
engines know this and all this. So people wanted to know if they could do their libraries.ne.gov and send it over to, and make sure that this URL is attached to their free site if they choose to go with the free site. And I believe Vern said either yes or he was working on that. So it's a work in progress. We're getting there.
Yeah. It's okay. We got time.
Yeah. Except security patches are real. I will say that again.
That's what's important to know. Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
a little bit.
All right. Doesn't look like we got any other last minute desperate questions coming in yet. Brian did have to leave. He said, so he already logged out. But you can reach out to him with all the questions you have. Of course, the slides that Amanda has up here, you're all going to have access to those. And there's the form to the WordPress interest form that you will need to go to say you are interested in doing this. Will we be sending out notice when the free training is available? The niche training, Niche Academy? Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll push it out on our regular social media, on our mailing lists. Yes.
And Diana, maybe we can do another NCompass that just introduces the WordPress course when it's ready.
Good.
Yes, that's a great idea. And I did look it up. We said January 2026 it would launch. So we can
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely do a little introduction with that.
Sweet.
Yeah. Sure. Introduction, and it might be an update on if what's been going on with the Nebraska Libraries on the web, how many libraries have changed and switched over, and how's it going, and what new features Vern has created for it since it's been,
Yeah.
And once you start using something, you realize, oh, I wish we had done this, or I wish it looked like this, and he'd be like, I can do that.
Right. Yeah. There'll be some things he'll be able to add or change, and some things that just aren't feasible to do. But we'll find out soon.
Yep. All right, and then there is Amanda's email, of course. And I'm going to pull presenter control back to my screen here to show you also. And of course, I'm going to throw this out there and say, this is our Nebraska Libraries on the website for the project, which has been the same main project site as before, but it has all the information about the new options on here. And I assume the link to the forums and stuff is here somewhere. I haven't really looked.
Ooh,
Here's where you can preview the Anytown site. Yeah.
And Vern did change this link at one point, so that might be an old link. Did it open to anything?
Which one?
The preview the site link.
Oh, I just searched on our Library Commission webpage, and what came up I clicked on.
Oh, all right, cool.
So this is what came up. But here you can do, there's the Anytown Library. So this is something
that was the link. I was
okay, yeah.
if the preview the site
And then
link.
there's that info sheet that Amanda was showing. Yep. So.
Oh shoot, I did not put the interest form on there.
We'll get it added.
Yeah.
But it will be in the slides that Amanda will send to me, so we can get those linked out when we do the recording. As I mentioned, and someone did ask, yes, our show is recorded, So yes, that will, we have a question about CE. Yes, we submit, when you attend any of our NCompass live shows live, we, for those of you who are in our librarian certification program or our library board member certification program, your CE hours are submitted for you for these, the live shows. So you don't have to do that. About an hour after this show wraps up, you're going to get an email from our GoToWebinar system that says, thank you for attending. This email shows as proof of your attendance, and it even has a PDF certificate attached. So for everyone who attends the live sessions. If you do watch our recordings over here, as you can see here, it says you do have to submit your own CE. So if you watch an archived show, you use our online form to submit your hours for anything you watch. We don't know who's watching our recordings, so you have to do that one yourself. But this is where the recording for today's show will be. It'll be up by the end of the day tomorrow. Everyone who attended and registered for today's show, even if you didn't make it live, you'll get an email from me letting you know when it's ready. And it will have, let's see, last week's, yes, there'll be a link to the recording. This is like the one from last week, and a link to Amanda's slides that you will have. This is, and it will also be pushed on out to our mailing list and our social media. We have a Facebook page for NCompass Live. If you like to use Facebook, give us a like. We post reminders about the show. Here's a reminder to log into today's show, or announcement of upcoming shows, and when the recordings are available, I always post on here. I use the NComp Live hashtag, a little abbreviation of our show name on here. And on the Library Commission's Instagram account, we use that as well. NCompass Live doesn't have its own, it just, we use the Commission stuff for some things, but we have our own Facebook page if you want to follow us there. On our show archives, I'll show you here, you can do a search to see if we've done a top show on anything, and this is how I actually remembered this. When we did the original Nebraska Libraries on the Web, I remember introducing back on May 2011.
Whoa.
So if you ever want to go back and watch and see how this all started, you can. And you can see these archives go pretty far back. That is because this is our full show archives. I think I mentioned earlier, going back to 2009. I'm not going to scroll down the whole thing because that would be crazy, too much. But so if you do watch any of our old shows, like that introducing Nebraska Libraries on the Web, pay attention to the original broadcast dates. Some things will be fine to watch, good, stand the test of time, good, still useful information, but some things will become old and outdated. Information, services, resources may change drastically, links might be broken, people will work at different places than when they worked here, where they worked when they presented for us. So just be aware when you're watching any of our old shows, they all have an original broadcast date, so you can always check on that. This is something libraries do. We keep things for historical purposes often, and we are doing that with our show. As long as we have a place to host all of our NCompass Live shows, which right now is the Library Commission's YouTube channel, we will always have them up there and available for you to watch. So go ahead and check them out. Yeah. All right, so that wraps it up for today. Amanda, we'll be back at the end of September. I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. We're still working on this project, so specific topic to be determined. So she'll be back on September 24th. And if you were here at the beginning when I was showing the intro slides, you would have noticed it says she is taking October off. That is because last week of October is Internet Librarian. I assume you're going to be involved in that, the Internet Librarian Conference. The second to last week is our NLA conference, as you can see there. That's the 1 week of the month, of 1 week of the year that we always take off from the NCompass Live when our Nebraska Library Association annual conference is happening. So we won't be here, we'll be out in New York. So keep an eye on this to see what Amanda might be talking about next month. And next week, I will be talking about E-rate here on NCompass Live. E-rate, just the basics for 2026. It is time to start thinking about E-rate. This is something else I do here at the Commission. I am our state E-rate coordinator for public libraries, so I help all our public libraries submit their E-rate, which is getting a discount on your internet service and equipment. And Next week, I will be your presenter. It'll just be me all by myself talking about the upcoming year. So if you are a public library doing or interested in doing E-rate, join me for that next week. And you see we got some other dates scheduled in here. We'll have more filling in, so keep an eye on our calendar here to see what we have coming on the show.
Sweet.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda, for being here. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Brian, even though you've already left.
I will send him the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for talking about this today. Definitely lots of changes, but for the better for everyone. I think it's going to be much easier websites for people to work with now. And thank you so much for working on this.
Cool.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you all on a future episode of NCompass Live. Bye-bye.